Hello, and thank you for tuning in to our international news broadcast. Right now, let's review the top stories currently capturing global attention.
Event number 1. Ukraine used Storm Shadow missiles to attack Russian defense industrial facilities. Event number 2. An Iranian drone attacked a luxury tower in Dubai. Event number 3. Members of the Iranian women's soccer team were granted humanitarian asylum in Australia.
And now, for the details.
British specialists supported Ukraine's missile strike on Russia's Bryansk region on March 10th, a precision attack that targeted a key defense industrial facility and destroyed military targets. The attack was carried out with British-supplied Storm Shadow long-range cruise missiles, hitting targets in the border city of Bryansk, including the Kremny L microelectronics plant, which produces components for Russian missile systems, radars, electronic warfare equipment, and drones. Russian officials and media have claimed that Ukraine relies on Western intelligence, satellite data, and technical support to carry out long-range precision strikes deep within Russian territory. Russia contends that the technicians operating these missiles were trained by the British and received targeting data from British intelligence. Clearly, this attack would not have been possible without the involvement of British specialists. The Russian embassy in London declared unilaterally on Wednesday. The Russian diplomatic mission accused the United Kingdom of being complicit in what it called the Kyiv government's war crimes. The radical statement from the Russian side read, "The blood of Bryansk residents, including children, is on the hands of the British military." Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov threatened that Russia would take into account British involvement in the missile strike, which he reported left 6 civilians dead and 37 injured. It is obvious that launching these missiles would be impossible without British specialists. "We are well aware of this and will certainly take it into account," Peskov told reporters in a warning tone. When asked by Reuters whether there would be a military response to Ukraine's use of British missiles to attack Russian territory, Peskov emphasized that Russia would note Britain's involvement. London has not yet provided an immediate response to these allegations. Russia has repeatedly pushed the narrative that Ukraine relies on Western-provided technical expertise, targeting information, and satellite imagery to launch advanced missiles to defend its territory. Maria Zakharova, spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry, alleged the attack was deliberately planned and called on the United Nations to assess the incident. Ukraine began effectively using Storm Shadow missiles in 2023. The Storm Shadow is an air-launched, long-range cruise missile designed for precision strikes against high-value, fortified targets like bunkers, ammunition depots, and enemy command centers. With a reported range exceeding 155 miles, it allows Ukrainian aircraft to neutralize strategic positions while maintaining a safe distance from Russian air defenses. One of the most successful uses of Storm Shadow missiles has been in strikes against military facilities on the illegally occupied Crimean Peninsula. An Iranian drone struck a luxury tower in Dubai early Thursday morning. According to the Associated Press, firefighters extinguished a blaze in 2 apartments at the Address Creek Tower 2. No casualties were reported. The high-rise building sustained damage to its upper floors as local residents watched from the scene after the incident. The United Arab Emirates stated it had activated its air defense systems twice to protect Dubai from attacks. 2 more members of the Iranian women's soccer team have been granted asylum in Australia, Australian Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said on Wednesday, though one later changed her mind and will return to Iran. According to the Associated Press, a total of 6 women from the Iranian team will remain in Australia on humanitarian visas after accepting asylum offers due to personal safety concerns, Mr. Burke said. The names and images of the 7 team members initially granted asylum have been widely publicized, and it is not yet clear which of them has changed their decision. The departure of the remaining members from Sydney on Tuesday evening occurred amidst tense protests at the delegation's hotel and at the airport. Iranian Australians had attempted to prevent the athletes from leaving, fearing for their safety under the regime in Iran. On Wednesday morning, Mr. Burke announced that 1 player and 1 team official had joined the other 5 athletes who had decided to stay in Australia. However, a few hours later, he told the federal parliament that 1 woman had spoken with her teammates and decided to return home. She was advised by her teammates and her coach to make contact with the Iranian embassy to be collected, Mr. Burke said. As a consequence, the Iranian embassy is now aware of the location of all who remain. The 6 women remaining in Australia were immediately moved to a different safe location, the minister announced. For each of the individuals, these were emotional encounters. They were emotional moments for them and for the staff from the Department of Home Affairs who received them. I can't begin to imagine the pressures that they have been weighing up. And as Australians, I think many of us just wish the circumstances in their home country were different. But we need to remember this. When those players stood in silence at the start of their first match, that silence roared as a cry for freedom around the world. And the world wanted to know, Australians wanted to know how we would respond. We have responded by saying, in Australia, you can be safe, you are welcome, and you will be home. For all those who were given that choice, I'm really glad we did. And to the 7 who took up the offer, our nation is so lucky that you chose us. I believe they are only just beginning to realize how welcome they are in Australia. My first interaction in making a decision involving this delegation was to consider who would be refused a visa. Not everyone who applied was approved. We work closely with our security partners to make assessments, and those with links to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, were not granted visas. That doesn't mean that the rest are automatically good people. And there's a reason why some did not receive a direct offer of asylum.